want to know who I am. Whether or not I belong to a family. Your family. The music box. To sing me to sleep when you were in Paris. Hear this song and remember, soon you'll be home with me. Once upon a December.
Oh, Anastasia. My Anastasia.
Hey guys, welcome to part 3 of the mind control series, where I will be covering more mind control tactics that the narcissists use to keep you under their control. Join my email list in the link below so you can watch the full 4-part video course on mind control tactics. Part 4 will be slightly delayed because of editing, and I will put it up on Tuesday. So if you're looking to learn more about narcissism, recovery methods, and coping strategies, start now by subscribing and clicking the notification bell. So now let's begin. The main strategy of mind control that I'm going to discuss today is dark manifestation. This is the same as manifestation under the law of attraction, but with corrupt goals and malicious intent. So how does the narcissist use manifestation to control their victims? To answer this question, we first need to take a look at the foundations of manifestation. So Sylvia from Thrive Global writes about the principles of conscious manifestation in this article. Number 1 is to have a vision. You need to know exactly where you wish to go. Otherwise, it's like going for a trip somewhere, not knowing exactly where. Once you know that you're heading to Hawaii, for instance, you know which plane to take, what you need to do to get there, how much it will cost, what to pack, and so on. It works exactly the same with anything in your life. Once you have a direction, your mind will align your actions towards your goal. So the narcissist's goal is to have absolute power and control over you. They have a clear picture in their head of where they want to put you in their life, what role you play, and what you will do for them, or where you'll fit in their human doll collection. They will plot and scheme down to the fine details. This requires them to have solid concrete goals and milestones. They are willing to put in excessive amount of time and energy to study you and ingest all of your personal information, behaviors, thought patterns, emotional programming, and physical reactions. In other words, they will try to know you. They will try to know everything there is to know about you so that they can convince you that they know you better than you know yourself. This can lead to the feeling and belief that they own you completely, which is the narcissist's ultimate intent or vision. The second principle is to develop a strong desire. Now we know where we are going, and we need something that energizes the vision. If you're flying to Hawaii, you know that the plane needs fuel to get there. The same works for your vision. You need the right fuel so you can manifest it. Have a vision that moves you and makes you feel light and joyful each time you think about it. These are the emotions that will get you where you want to go. Dare to dream and think big. It will help you energize your vision. So in other words, we need to imagine the feeling of having achieved the goal. We need to remind ourselves of the final reward, the sweet victory, so that we are driven to keep working towards that goal. The narcissist visualizes your total submission and their unequivocal power over you to motivate themselves to keep up the facade for as long as it takes, until you let your guard down, until you give them your absolute trust and loyalty. This is what makes it possible for them to keep the mask for months or even years. and continue with the love bombing, idealization, and future faking without any genuine love or care. Because they are so determined to taste your succulent remains, your tragic losses, your pain and suffering. Another mind control tactic closely related to visualization is a practice called imagery. This technique is widespread in sports and dance training. Sama Nordin Bates from International Association of Dance Medicine and Science wrote in her post on imagery in dance training and performance, "Imagery acknowledges the importance of using multiple senses, not just our emotion, to make an image as vivid as possible. In fact, research shows us that imagery is more effective the more vivid it is. Essentially, it is these sorts of rich images which convince your brain that what is going on is real. It is stimulating the very same areas of the brain as actual movement, actual music listening, actual seeing, and so on." Imagery engages the same brain circuitry as training does. It is a highly valid form of practice that helps improve learning, memory, and performance. So in other words, we gain access to the state of consciousness that comes with the successful execution of a physical act by training our brain as opposed to through physical repetition and practice. We can also look at it from the energy field perspective. Once your vibration matches the frequency of the desired act, you could execute it with perfection. Similarly, murder, rape, pathological lying, and stealing, among other crimes, are physical acts through our body and speech that can be performed with our body using impulse and brute force, or our mind using imagery. This can explain the superhuman stealth and agility that narcissists possess in creating psychic damage on their victims. A simple example of this is the violation of someone's personal space when they least expect it, paired with sinister body language, which creates a sudden rush of intense fear and great sense of danger, similar to a murder or rape victim's experience just before the death blow. They can also generate a suffocating aura by simply having a fierce and acute intention to cause us harm. And if their psychic vibrations become strong enough, the murder act will be committed within seconds. As for lying, the reason narcissists are such great actors is because they use imagery to become the lie and make themselves live in it until they believe that it's real. They are so desperate for supply that they are willing to confuse themselves for it. And with enough practice, they'll be able to switch their beliefs or masks to one that suit their agenda with no discernible time lapse, all while keeping their rotten goals intact. Another way the narcissist makes use of imagery is for energy violation. They set a strong sexual image in their brain with the unsuspecting target, leading to instantaneous release of thick pheromones and scent marking. They mark their target with their scent and rub their essence onto their targets without the need for physical contact. They're essentially raping the target in their minds, generating the sensations of the act in their own physical body. When they do this, they don't even need to look at you to make you feel harassed and completely violated. To give you a better picture of how imagery works, I'm going to cite another article. This one is from beliefperform.com by Ryan Mellett. It's safe to assume that we all know the human body is a complex machine, and as complicated as the body is, the brain is even more complicated. Look at your brain as the central processing unit for your body. Whatever is programmed into it will be directed to the necessary components of the body to be executed. Relying on electrical transmissions through neural pathways, these signals fuel our senses. Using imagery primes our mind for what it will ultimately instruct our bodies to do. So being clear on what you want the outcome of your visualization to be is of great importance. Instructing athletes to do a mental walkthrough, visualizing their event and what they want to see happen is a great tool for success. and also helps them to feel more relaxed come game time. Shane Murphy conducted a survey on imagery by asking coaches at the US Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs and found that 94% of them, as well as 90% of the athletes, used imagery in their sport. 100% of the coaches and 97% of the athletes surveyed agreed that imagery does enhance performance. When the athletes were asked why they use imagery, 80% said they use it to prepare for competition, 48% used it to deal with errors in technique, 44% used it for learning new skills, and 40% used it for relaxation. 20% of the athletes used it every day, while 40% used it every 3 to 5 days. So you can see imagery is recognized as a powerful tool to aid performance at a high level. So in sports and dance, this technique is used for when you're stuck, when you find yourself doing it over and over with very little progress in performance. The same applies for any other skill, even manipulation and oppression. The narcissist not getting their supply after persistent pushing will turn to imagery as a back-end route. This method is also used when the performers are waiting for their turn to practice, or looking for extra practice time outside the field or dance studio. Similarly, the narcissists use imagery to sharpen their skills in coercion and abuse, whilst waiting for the appointment or interaction with their target, or when they are lying in wait for you to let your guard down, for you to share your vulnerabilities, for an opening, for the right setting and circumstance. AppliedSportPsychology.org said that imagery is also encouraged to keep players in top form when training is not possible. Injuries will inevitably occur during an athlete's career, which will cause them to miss training sessions. In these situations, athletes can use imagery to help them maintain their abilities during the rehabilitation process and to help them cope with their injuries. Imagery can even help the healing process to move along more quickly. So for narcissists, when their opportunities or source of supply have become exhausted, when most people are avoiding them, they retreat and train their skill in mind control and torture through imagery. They also convince themselves of their sustained superiority and control over their past victims who have already left them by using this technique. Hoovering and stalking is also strengthened with the use of imagery, where they force themselves to sense and live out your broken boundaries and submission, attempting to break your beliefs, infiltrate your psyche, and influence your mind completely. Napoleon Hill says, "What the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve." So we as survivors must conceive and believe that the narcissist will not succeed at violating or abusing us ever again, that we will eventually grow out of all abusive relationships, and if we keep practicing this belief, before long, we will have established a solid, foolproof defense against any manipulation and oppression. Coming back to Thrive Global, yet another principle of manifestation is to develop an unflappable belief. Very likely you haven't manifested what you desire because deep down you don't believe that it could be yours. With your disbelief, you block the manifestation. Let's say that you have a clear vision with a strong desire, but you don't believe that it could happen for you. Then what happens is like saying, actually I cannot have it. I don't believe that it can be mine. The universe responds, so be it. So why don't you believe that it can be yours? Dig deep within yourself to find out what your belief is and then work on changing it. So clearly the narcissist has no issue with this element. They have an immense distorted belief in themselves. Their grandiosity and sense of entitlement will even attract others to trust and support them in their endeavors without even investigating their agenda. Narcissists exude charisma, charm, and all things impressive simply because they have hypnotized themselves into believing that they are extraordinary, all-knowing, and superior beyond measure. Principle number 4 is to take an aligned action. Align your action with your goal. If you want to travel the world, then you might need to save up some money or have some other source of income while you travel. In order to ground your energy, take whatever action that you would in the event that your goals are realized. Act like your wish has already come true. In our example, by saving money for your travels, you're aligning yourself with the realizing of your dream. You show to the universe that you're certain that you'll go by saving money in preparation for it. In a relationship, the narcissists use this tactic often. They communicate their control over your decision and your life by acting in ways that show that they already own you. This is done through subtle, intrusive speech and behavior that steers the relationship in the direction of their goal, making you feel that you were part of this shift in the relationship through the sheer belief that everything is already moving towards their agenda. For example, to simulate your loyalty, they will advance or even fast-track the relationship, whether you feel comfortable or not, in preparation for your addiction to their false character of an ideal companion or benefactor, your addiction to their approval. In the same way, as though your fate of being devalued is set in stone, they will smirk at you whether or not you stand for their chronic lying, blaming, and crazy making to condition you into manifesting your own self-doubt and devastation. Or they will even fast forward to the next phase, that is the discard, by preparing to look for other supply and giving you less attention, so that you will try to resolve the issue and look for the cause of their change of heart, which in turn gives them the opportunity to devalue you. Finally, we need absolute detachment for manifestation to work. This step is one where most people stumble. We like to control things in our life because we are afraid that if we don't control them, then they wouldn't happen. And this is exactly the reason why we need to let them go. If we are attached to what we want and we obsess about having it now, then we are simultaneously saying that we don't believe that we can have it, which undermines principle number 4, creating an unflappable belief. By letting go of when and how, you show that you believe that it is already yours, because only he who is certain of the outcome can afford to wait. So the narcissist has mastered this aspect in the love bombing or idealization phase, where they are immensely generous and magnanimous. They give you paradise and don't expect anything in return. You feel like money is falling from the sky. There is no commitment or requirement on your part at all. And this naturally makes you want to commit and give back, to return the favor. It is our human nature and social instinct to do so. And knowing this dynamic of gratitude, the narcissists slowly extort and abuse and control us until they dominate our entire existence. But first, they'll need to sell it hard. And that is why at the beginning, they adopt genuine benevolence and munificence. So that's all for today. Please like and share this video if you find it helpful, and subscribe to get notified of new videos as soon as they are published. I post videos every week on understanding narcissism, how to heal from the abuse, and how to protect yourself against it. Also check out my Patreon page in the link below for more exclusive content, and donate below if you want me to keep making videos. You can also contact me for counseling sessions or support. I accept emails and WhatsApp communication. So stay mindful, peaceful, and powerful, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
How many lives does it take to realize what's going on? How many years have gone by? When will I reach the finish line? Does it ever end? Is there some reason to all of this?
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on.